Welcome to CarTok, where we talk everything about car. Today, let us talk about the Omoda C9. Omoda C9 tagline is affordable yet luxury, or luxury that are affordable. Luxury, affordable. Are those two words contradicting? Let's find out. The Omoda C9 that we get this time is not top of the line 188,000 all-wheel drive variant. Quite the opposite actually. What we have here is the 168,000 two-wheel drive entry-level variant. So Omoda C9, what it is about? In Malaysia, you can understand it as a D segment full-size SUV that are selling at a C segment SUV pricing. The major competitor includes the Mazda CX-5, the Toyota Harrier, the Peugeot 5008, or the Volkswagen Tiguan and X90 flagship. You can even understand it as a cheaper Lexus RX. Fun fact, this vehicle, Omoda C9, in other country, for example in Europe country, it's known as Exceed RX. EXCEED RX. Why its name is RX? We will look at the real design later, so you will know some relations. So we all know Chery has a lot of brands. No matter it's Jeku, Omoda, now it's one brand. We have Exceed, which is another Omoda brand. Exceed used to be a high-end Chery. You can understand it as Lexus for Toyota. Then recently in Shanghai Auto Show, they have announced another brand called Lepas. Then we have one called iCar. There's many brands with confusing strategy, but they share the same traits. They are very good at capturing essence of each automotive icon. For example, the Range Rover, the Land Cruiser, and the Jaguar. If you know, you know. In this case, why they are doing so? It's same like the tagline that we have mentioned earlier on, luxury yet affordable. Luxury, what is the definition of luxury? Luxury is in essential, desirable item which is expensive or difficult to obtain. Example given will be your dream car, for example the Range Rover Sport or the Toyota Land Cruiser. Those are expensive in every standard measurable. It's not a car that is easily affordable by most Malaysian or most middle income group. Then we have the tagline called affordable, which is reasonably priced and enough money to buy. That is exactly what this car is about. Just look at the exterior design, just look at the size with almost 3-meter length of wheelbase. This car is all about offering you a luxury vehicle in an affordable pricing. Exterior wise, since we are getting the entry-level two-wheel drive variant, you can see it's actually almost identical as the top of the line all-wheel drive vehicle. Front fascia, it has this diamond grille matrix design. They call it a diamond grille. So it's like a intake grille that cut away with some sculpture here. Then you have one big piece of garnish Omoda wording here. No Chery logo to be found. Then you have this DRL, where Chery named it as Sigma design, S-I-G-M-A. I believe it might look like the Greek letter Sigma. All those vents here are unfortunately fake. There's no functional vent here, but never mind. Then let's talk about the rim. It's a 20-inch big wheel with elegant design. So it's more of an elegant car than a sporty car. You have this big bulgy roof side profile line that went all the way to the back. Then you have another character line here. And you have a sloping roof. Blackout C pillar. This is actually blackout, but because it's a new car, we haven't removed the sticker yet. Blackout B pillar. It's a very clean design. You can understand it as there's no bulgy rear quarter panel as well. From the front quarter, I'm not sure about you. What do you think about the car? You can leave a comment to us. But for me, actually same like all Chery vehicle, it shouts a very strong deja vu vibe. From the first glance and after you knowing about the pricing, you will thought, this is a car that maybe is the size of a CX-5 or a CR-V. But no, this is actually way bigger than all those. So the wheelbase, as I have mentioned earlier, it's almost 3 meter plus. Then you have this sloping roof line. If you see closely, the sculpture is actually a teardrop shape. Go up here and go down. That create a somewhat a coupe-like silhouette, but it's not a SUV coupe. I personally strongly think this is not a SUV coupe, it just market itself as is. Then the official Omoda C9 design language for this vehicle is called Art in Motion. Whatever that means, I don't understand. According to the official figure, this car has a rather good aerodynamic efficiency. If I'm not mistaken, the number is about 0.3 CD, coefficient of drag of 0.3. It's not that great for a car, but for an SUV it's alright. So you can see the car is more of a teardrop and sleek body line. clean, nothing too fancy, with just one strong character line here and one strong character line here. That's it. But again, it shouts certain car model. If you see this side profile and it reminds you some other car model, let us know in the comment section. I'm not able to talk about it. So one major contributor to the low coefficient of drag and sleek body is this, a flush door handle design. So you can see this. Yes, it's actually hidden. So when you do need it, it can retract in to create a more flush and aerodynamic body. Then you have this roof rail, which is functional, but I am unable to find out how much kg it can withstand. Seems like this is an actual legitimate roof rail rather than the display decoration pieces on it. It's a legit pieces. Then let's move to the rear end. Here you can see a wordings here called Energy Matrix. I assume is the design language for the rear brake lamp. The rear design, again, I will let the comment section to tell us what design does this shout. Personally, I get some inputs from my social circle. Some of them say this particular tail lamp look like C-segment SUV, a brand hash, or some they say it exactly look like the car model name R. If you know, you can let us know in the comment. Then out of the rear design, one particular design that I feel like it's sticking out like a sore thumb is this. Out of all the round and sleek line, they have these two that seems out of places. I do not know why, but it's there. So you can see these two brake lamps that look something out of Gundam. This car is not that design language, so I do not know. Then you have this loop roof line, a sloop tailgate line, and a one-piece tail lamp, brake lamp integrated, which is very trend nowadays. Here you have a reflector with a sloping cut line here. You have these four exhaust tips. We need to check if it's a real legitimate. Yes, it's real legitimate. So kudos to Chery team. Real exhaust tip, yo. Being a D-segment SUV, indeed it's massive, with a big boot here, a flat ingress and egress here. Then here comes the surprise at here. Inside this compartment is stored a full-size spare tires, Michelin Primacy 4 with the actual rim. So plus point. So camping is a very trendy thing nowadays, and with camping you need a lot of hooks and yeah, a million of hooks. But so far what I can see is there's no hooks here. There's no hooks. Then inside here there's no hooks as well. There's only one tapao hook at here, and that's about that. So maybe they think this car is too stylish for the jungle. This 20-inch elegant diamond cut rim is wrapped by a 245/50 R20 Michelin E-Primacy tires, which is kind of a surprise given all Chinese vehicles are rather budget conscious. It's a rare occasion that I saw them equipped with Michelin tires. Underneath these front wheels is the suspension setup with a McPherson front suspension setup. The rear wheel, however, uses a multi-link suspension setup. As this is an entry-level two-wheel drive variant, it does not come with the party piece of Omoda C9. The CDC, which is electronically adjustable suspension. For this, no, it's just good old damper and spring, pure mechanical damper and spring. Once you look at the exterior design, most people will ask, is it an EV or is it a PHEV? No, this is a good old ICE vehicle, internal combustion engine. Yes, the similar platform at other countries, for example, the origin country China, it does came with a hybrid option. But in Malaysia, we only came with a 2.0 liter 8-speed ICE gearbox transmission as a sole powertrain option. There's no hybrid variant or there's no 1.5 or DCT variant. No, it's 2.0 with 8-speed ICE automatic transmission. The figures is 257 horsepower and 400 Newton meter of torque. It might sound a lot, but this car is also surprisingly heavy at 1.8 ton. If you look at the numbers that produced by the engine and you imagine a breeze and exciting acceleration performance, no. This car is more of a yacht or a road sailing boat. It's not a jet fighter, it's not a warrior. Just put it that way. Looking at the engine bay, is a good old front-wheel drive mechanical layout, a longitudinal engine, a transversely mounted engine with a gearbox at side mount, and there are some details in this Omoda C9 that are slightly better compared to all the others Omoda vehicle. For example, let's look at the foam inside. This vehicle, one of the main selling points is the sound insulation. or in other words, is NVH, noise, vibration, and harshness. So this engine bay itself, you can see even the engine, they wrap a lot of those insulation foam. This engine cover itself is not even a hard plastic, it's a foam. Okay, then here you have the sound deadening material. Not just that, inside the panel, air panel, you can see it when you open the door here. At here, there's some sound deadening material. Here also. So in the firewall, this firewall itself also have some sound deadening material, which emphasize this car. Your main goal, our main objective is to create a comfortable and supple driving environment rather than a sporty, fun-to-drive vehicle. So, as this is not a car that are designed for performance and to excite driving enthusiasts, but more of a car that try to sell you luxury, comfortable, and NVH that are better than all the rivals. So, apart from the engine bay, where they wrap literally almost everything in insulation foam, there are some minor details too. For example, the door. We are looking at the front door, and actually the rear door too, there's a double seam rubber. So this is the actual rubber, sound insulation rubber here. Then there's another one here, which actually helps to reduce the wind noise. Not just that, the front mirror or the front window of this vehicle, okay, take note, only the front, rear is normal, is double seam sound insulation acoustic glass. They are trying to create an environment where you are cocooned inside and isolate from all the external noises. So let's look at the rear door, it's the same. You have this rubber here, and you have this wind noise insulation rubber here. It's just that this mirror is not a double seam sound acoustic glass. So as you can see, the whole theme and objective of this vehicle is to be luxury. But what kind of luxury they are talking about is the comfortable. So what kind of luxury that Omoda would like to offer you in an affordable pricing? For me, personally, I think they are trying to offer you with the most comfortable cabin that they can offer within the given budget. This particular vehicle here, being a two-wheel drive variant, it's 20,000 ringgit cheaper compared to the top of the line. So this 20,000 ringgit, what is being shortchanged? You are being shortchanged for the leather. So this is actually artificial leather instead of the top of the line Napa leather. You have less speakers, 14 versus 8. You don't have the CDC dampers. Then the driving mode is slightly lesser, 7 and 3. This is only have 3. The four-wheel drive variant has 7. And then of course you don't have the four-wheel drive. Then other than that, you only get the paddle light here, but the top of the line, you get something with the rhythm, whatever that means. So all in all, if you get this two-wheel drive variant, the rear seat is almost the same as the top of the line. And I have a theory that this car is best enjoyed in the rear seat as opposed to the front seat. Let's face it, this is not a sport car, this is not the performance car, hence it is not the fun car to be driven in. But it is rather a fun car or a comfortable car to be chauffeured in. I will demonstrate it in the rear seat this time. So being a D segment SUV, you can see how vast the space in this rear cabin. There are some details that shout another brand, but I'm getting tired of mentioning it. Just look at this. So where does this come from? You know. Where does this come from? You know. I'm not going to mention it further. But nevertheless, it is a fact that this is a rather comfortable rear cabin with ample of room here. Being a 3-meter wheelbase, it does have some help, and a very cozy, very supple seats. And these all are wrapped in artificial leather. If you're willing to spend extra 20,000, you will get Napa leather. Oh, these are leathers. Then you have Sony speakers. Then you have this switch. So there's a 7-degree. Upon reading the press release, I noticed that they have mentioned this rear seat, it's only 7 degrees adjustability, but something is better than nothing. Let me demonstrate. This is the most upright position, then this is the most inclined position. That's it. But again, something is better than nothing. So what's more special on the rear seat? You get your own independent aircon here. So this is a 3-zone climate control. And for some reason, I do not know why, Malaysia is a country that are hot and humid, yet they come with heated seat for both rear seat. What? I do not know why. There's heated seat controller here. And of course, you get the Boss switch here. And you can see this rear seat, it's really enjoyable. You can say it's almost perfect to become an executive vehicle to chauffeur your managers or your client around. Then you have an aircon vent here that shows a little bit of early BMW. Oh, this is a button light, a hanger here. That's it. But still, it's a very nice cabin. This rear seat, you also can notice is a flat floor pan here. It's a USB, and that's it. Door pocket. But Let's feel the rear seat without the CDC, and we will tell what is the riding experience to be like in this vehicle. Usually I would like to talk about the driving experience, but this time we will talk about the riding experience. So as you can see, I'm very comfortable in the rear seat, and I have a very brave hypothesis. I wouldn't call it a conclusion. This might be one of the best car that you can use to chauffeur your client, your guests, your executive around. So as you can see, you have these buttons which I have just mentioned. I'm comfortably having my leg like this here right now. Then the aircon vent is just nice. I'm not feeling too hot here, or the cold air just blow through me, just like that. And everything here is just as nice. A nice panoramic roof. Then there's one surprise point for the suspension. All this while, I am very skeptical on Chinese vehicle when it comes to suspension tuning. There is a price to pay for everything. So if they can sell you a car with a long specification sheet, there must be something that is being traded off. So driving department or the right hand handling being something that are not too emphasized by consumer nowadays is often the number one priority that are being ignored or being less prioritized. But for this car, I have to say the ride quality is rather decent. I'm not sure it's because of the rear multi-link suspension or the way they set up damper the spring. It just feels alright. The whole car feels like yacht or a motorboat. So we are currently in the bumpy road. Of course, I can still feel the road condition. It transfers all the shocks and bumps, but I have very nicely cushioned seats, and the suspension is rather supple. So all I feel is just and just glide through like nothing. Yeah, it's a very comfortable cabin. Everything that you touch on your skin, it's all wrapped in, no matter it's artificial or actual leather, it's still leather nonetheless. Leather here, leather here, leather here. So, and yeah, this headrest, this is something that are quite premium. This headrest is not just a normal headrest. It's also adjustable when it comes to this specific piece here, this piece here. So you can lay down here and relax while your chauffeur bring you to your destination. So as you can see, the front seat of this car, first thing that you notice is the comfort egress and easy in out. I call it easy in out function. Then regarding to the interior design, again it shouts another brand. I'm getting tired of mentioning it, so I'm not going to mention it. You all know what car brand I'm talking about. The steering wheel is a D-spoke steering with a flat bottom steering design. Then you have these two big screen, which is being shown proudly in the brochure. Then you have this button to control the temperature, the driving mode. Yeah, and you have this to control the blower of the aircon. You have a hidden compartment here and another hidden compartment down here for you to place your key or whatnot. This center console. Then here you have this mini cute cubby hole that are connected to the aircon blower, so you can store beverages here. No surprise. Then you have this soft release drawer with sweat material inside, and those all materials here are all leather. You can see all the touch point here with the actual stitching. Here's plastic, of course, and here's plastic, of course, but here's leather. There are a few things that I do not like about this vehicle or the interior design. So for example, this particular button here and all the buttons here. So this is the on off, this is the volume, and here is the BSC, hill descent control, and the 360 camera. All those remind me of the induction cooker that you can buy at Sangheng. It's not very elegant, isn't it? For sure they can find some better design feature. And up next is actually the ergonomics. So for your information, this particular vehicle or this model, Malaysia is one of the very few right-hand drive market. So this is a left-hand drive converted to right-hand drive vehicle, and you can notice the steering is extremely offset to the left. So this is the center of me, and you can see Omoda, and A is the center point. So the whole steering is severely to the left. And then there's no coin box here. Up next is this soft touch lights, sunroof button, nothing special. And you have a power socket here, and your USB connecting point there with a very big storage space and a huge storage space in the door card. The touching point of your knee to the left side here is alright because you have some leather soft touch material here. But when you are touching the door panel, you are touching the grill of the speaker. So it does feel a little bit not so comfortable. So yeah, there's still some minor quirky points to complain about in the front seat. But again, as I said, the selling point of this vehicle is not in this seat. It's actually at the rear seat. How does this car feels like to drive? Let's find out.
So apart from the exterior design that look like some Japanese vehicle, the interior design that look like some German vehicle, you also have this. So for those who are familiar with sound system, this is commonly known as, I think it's Bang & Olufsen or Bauer-Wilkins. I forgot which one, but when you start the car, it will lift up the tweeter here. But this is actually a pure decoration or a pure design feature. It does not actually lift up or whatnot. It's just for there to show. Then you have this head-up display unit, which only show the speed and the ADAS feature. Not so much information. Then there's one major flaw when it comes to the UI. Okay, actually, as a matter of fact, for most Chinese vehicle, when it comes to UI, user interface, they always fall short. And for this vehicle, for me personally, I feel a little bit unacceptable is the information regarding to the RPM is this. Small words here and which gear you are in at here. So it makes things a little bit hard to see. It reminds me of those eye testing chart when you are checking your eyes in the clinic or in the optometrist. So for example, now we go to the drive. Let's go for a drive now. When we are driving the vehicle, as you can see, the UI, it's a little bit flawed. So I'm not sure which gear I'm in apart from this small letter here, which is like about 5mm times 5mm to know which gear you are in. So a little bit unacceptable, but credits to its due. This is a very comfortable car to be driven in. Steering is very light, extremely light. So no matter which mode, according to the official brochure, no matter you select eco mode, sport mode or normal mode, the steering weight will have some slight difference, but for me, I can't feel it. All of them are as weightless as possible. It's effortless to drive nonetheless, so you can use this to turn the car, no issue. But for those who like to communicate with the vehicle, you will find this a little bit less inspiring. Then the steering rack of this vehicle, I believe, is different compared to all the Chery. It's a quick ratio. So the turning radius of this vehicle, I believe, is quite small, about 6 meters. So you can maneuver this car quite effortlessly. So I'm doing a U-turn now, as you can see. And that's it. The gear shift of this vehicle is rather smooth, slow and steady. Even though you put it into sport mode, it will not go extremely aggressive and come, let's go. No, it just it's more like this kind of vehicle. And given the official figures of 400 Nm of torque, 257 horsepower, it doesn't feel like it. It feels a little bit slow paced, steady, and again, it constantly reminds you of the nature of this vehicle. This is a comfort orientated vehicle, not a sporty car to be driven in, not an enjoyable car for the driving enthusiast. No, it's more of a chauffeur's car. The suspension setup is rather supple, not until wobbly or unsettling, but it's rather supple. So when I'm driving high speed highway, 150, 160 km/h, and you know our highway is not all the way smooth. There are some small bumps and humps. The car just floats around like a yacht. It just keeps floating on and off, on and off. The throttle response is okay, a little bit slow, but okay. But what surprised me is actually the brake. So this is the first Chery, or should I say Omoda, the first Omoda that I have driven that has a rather good brake feedback, a linear bite. All you ever wanted is a comfortable vehicle with the least amount of budget. I can see why this car is attracted by you. You can go for a test drive and understand what is the actual feeling of this vehicle. For me, if you ask me, is this a car that are nice to drive? I would say it depends. If you want a car that are effortless, easy to drive, comfortable all day long, yes, this car is for you. And the steering is rather okay. The steering rack setup is rather okay. So you can see it's not that slow. This is actually better than Omoda 5. The brake is actually better too. But if you are looking for something that can evoke you, make you excited from deep down your inner kid, no, this car is not for you.
Before we talk about conclusion of this vehicle, we need to understand that what kind of competition of this vehicle is facing in the market at the moment. This car starting price is at 168,000 all the way to 188,000, which is not a small money. This front-wheel drive variant is selling at 168,000. For comparison, Honda CR-V, which is a C-segment SUV, is selling at 180,000. Then we have the Mazda CX-8 Plus, which is selling for 184,000 too. And then we have this Proton X90 flagship, which is selling for 170,000. All of those is either a 7-seater SUV or a SUV that are smaller in segment. This is selling at the price of C-segment SUV but provide you a D-segment comfortable. When you are purchasing this vehicle, you need to know what kind of priority you want when it comes to car purchase. Do you prioritize comfortable more than everything else? And do you need more than 2 seats or more than 3 seats? So this is the million-dollar question that you need to ask yourself before you place an order for a Omoda C9. And of course, you need to remind yourself that to lower your own expectations, because as beautiful as the tagline suggests, luxury yet affordable, there are some corners that has been cut that waiting for you to find out, and you need to understand if you can accept those corners being cut or not. We will see you in our next video. If you like what we are doing, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We also have a web page and Instagram to be followed. Thank you.